talk about the plunge protection team, which is a working group on financial markets. They've got the counterparty risk management group, which headed by the Goldman Sachs people to help them out. Certainly people feel that the bond market's been monetized, and that's the reason that with all the commodity prices flying, that the yields are down to 3.3%. And there's always talk about doing something with the dollar. Well, at times they do intervene there. The thing that's been consistent for the last 10, 15 years has been the manipulation of the gold price, which, as I mentioned earlier, was started by Robert Rubin as part of this strong dollar policy.
So where do we go from here? You say we're at half the price that gold is going to be at in the end. That's why it's going to shoot up even north of where we are right now. Could kind of lay out the chronology for us. What happens next? What happens next? What is the federal response? What is central bank response? And what takes us to 2000 or north?
Well, first of all, if I might say, at Gold Rush 21, our conference in Dawson City, when the price of gold was $436, I said the price was going to go to $3,000 to $5,000 to clear the market. So I'll stick with $3,000 to $5,000, and a lot of people now saying that's too conservative, but I'll be very happy with $3,000 to $5,000. What's going to take us up there is that there's a general squeeze coming in for physical supply. There's concern about various claims about gold in the depositories. The central banks are in buying. There's a lot of people. We've had talks with the Chinese. I've had 3 conference calls with the Chinese Investment Corporation. They want to know what we have to say. The big money is moving into gold. The 3 of the great hedge fund traders, Paul Tudor Jones, David Dickhorn, John Paulson, all of a sudden have taken big positions in gold. And this Paulson just announced he was starting a whole new fund. Well, the gold shares are going to take off, in my opinion, the next year, and it's going to be like the internet mania.
I noticed that you know, when John Paulson makes a move like that, it gets trumpeted to the press, and it really stuck out the other day. And I kind of went, he must know something or must agree on something. Let me ask you this, though, Bill. There are so many people in the market, and so much of it seems to be a dollar proxy. You know, if the dollar's been bouncing back lately, and yet gold has been holding fairly steady, which is an oddity in some sense. Are we seeing a decoupling of the dollar proxy play that gold traditionally is? Are people waking up to the fact that there are other factors out there that are going to dictate the price much more than U.S. dollar direction?
Bernie, we have been saying this for the last 7, 8 years. The key to the gold market is not what the dollar does. It's the physical market's ability to overpower the gold cartel, which is happening. And so, yes, after Gold Rush 21, Andrei Bykov, a consultant, key consultant to President Putin of Russia, came, and 2 days later the gold market exploded. It went up $300 an ounce, and the dollar barely moved. And so you could see the dollar, gold go up $1,000 and the dollar do very little.
Tell me, what is the if gold shoots up from here, if John Paulson's bet in the gold market pays off, what's the harm to the world? That's just great, right, for everybody who holds gold, from my mother-in-law to my brother the dentist with his gold alloy stock, to you, to John Paulson. Why would another financial crisis be brew as a result of that?
Well, we'll go to what Alan Greenspan said in the Federal Open Market Committee in 1993. It was discovered by GATA consultant Dimitri Speck just a couple of weeks ago. He was talking at the federal meeting, Federal Open Market Committee meeting, and he talked about gold as a thermometer. He said if we could put gold in the market, we could diffuse the thermometer and change the psychology of the markets. Well, God has been talking about this as a barometer for the last decade. They want to shoot the messenger, diffuse the barometer. So the problem is, it's what they've created. If gold was where it should have been, it wouldn't be a big deal. But what happens every time gold spikes up? They talk about lack of confidence in the dollar, too much inflation, financial crisis. So they've created a monster.
All right, Bill, we got emails coming in from TV land, and we're going to pose those to you next. A lot of very interested people taking GATA's advice, of course, to heart. Then we'll talk this through further. Right ahead on the show, we'll take your emails. It's Your Time Confidential. Last chance, fire it again. We are at AsiaConf. There you go, at Bloomberg.net. We're going to keep that up for you. Don't write it down. Just boot up. Make sure your computer's booted up and pen us some.